Okay. Listen. Oh no, I got something good.
Okay.
All right. Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Ticketmaster, parent organization to Live Nation Entertainment. Is that correct?
No. You got
I got it wrong, didn't I?
If we just looked it up, you had Live Nation owns TikTok and something called
You said
Liberty.
TikTok.
Oh my gosh. Live Nation owns Ticketmaster.
Live Nation.
And something
owns
called
Ticketmaster.
Liberty something owns Live Nation.
Okay, yes. Okay, here we go. Live. This is from Google. Oh no, this is from Wikipedia. Okay.
Definitely reliable there. I think I tried adding stuff to Wikipedia when I was in high school.
You did try. I tried too. I tried to add some stuff to Wikipedia.
I don't know if it actually made it through, but
I don't know if this is still true or
I think
not.
I submitted. I don't know. I feel like I typed something on a webpage.
That's
I don't know
wild.
what happened to it.
Now I heard from Wikipedia that there's only roughly 10 or so people who are the main contributors of information.
Get that job.
I know. I have to now. Don't. You can't quote me on that. I'm already
I'm talking
quoted.
to everyone about Wikipedia, so I will most definitely be quoted.
Okay, I don't know
No one
for
talks
sure.
about Wikipedia.
I don't know for sure if I talk about Wikipedia. I
You
like
do?
Wikipedia. Well, I don't talk about Wikipedia casually.
Who do you talk to about Wikipedia?
Okay, look. If I see a stranger on the street, I'm not casually talking to them about Wikipedia. But anyway, hold on. That's off topic.
And yet we all use Wikipedia.
It popped up
That's
right here.
funny.
It popped up right here while I was searching for this. Okay, anyway, Live Nation Entertainment Incorporated, is an American multinational entertainment company that was founded in 2010 following the merger of Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Okay, so I didn't realize that they've actually merged and they're Live Nation Entertainment. Okay. Live Nation Entertainment Incorporated.
That's cool.
What I'm saying is this.
What?
Service fees and ticket prices are high.
And out of control.
I would say they are out of control. I would say that there is a lot of greed at play. I watched the video, all right? I watched the video, and this is a good video to check out if you want some more information. It's called What Ticketmaster Doesn't Want You to Know. Concerts Were Cheap for Decades. And this is by a channel called More Perfect Union.
Concerts were cheap for decades?
Yes.
Okay.
They did some stuff in the video in regards to inflation.
Okay.
And let's say if you were to buy a ticket for Elvis or a big artist at that time, even with inflation, it would have only been somewhere around $45 on average in today's money to go see a top act such as Elvis.
Okay. Even like... So, in proportion to their salary, it was still attainable to go and see Elvis?
Yes.
As opposed to now, and a big time artist ticket should still be pretty reasonable, given inflation. But it's just overcharging.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So, what I was saying was, so you're saying that even with inflation... and our increase in salaries, if that's what they're taking into account, a big time artist should still be attainable to see at a reasonable price. But it's not, because people want to make more money.
Exactly.
Okay,
for one, people, I would say, the companies who run the entire big concert industry business, I'm talking about selling out arenas.
Yeah.
In order to sell out arena, of course, you need hundreds and hundreds of people to help put something like that together.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that the overhead cost of that is going to be massive in order to pay all those people and in order to get the bookings and everything like that. Right?
Do they all really get paid? Because remember, like Something in the Water, we had a friend that was able to just volunteer.
That's right.
And that was a pretty big festival. So at least that was the first year they had it. But
wow, you're right.
Are they all like employees?
I wonder. That's a good question.
Or are people just like, wow, I get to work on such and such's stage, or I get to volunteer and.
That's a good question. I don't know, but I'm just assuming here that if there are volunteers at something in the water, and for the first year, that there may be volunteers at other locations and other concert venues, I would say. And I would say the main question that I'm thinking of is, and you can give your take on this, is Ticketmaster and Live Nation, right? They're a United States company. Are they morally wrong or greedy for operating within, to my knowledge, the business standards and practices of American capitalism? Or should they be giving tickets to people for $50? What do you think about that?
I don't see anything wrong with them making the ticket price whatever they want it to be. As long as they're not doing any shady business, which, I mean, it is the music industry. So I'm pretty sure there are some shady things that happen.
I mean, there's a lot of shady things.
With ticket pricing, bots, like all sorts of stuff like that shady. But let's say, like, hypothetically, there's no shady stuff.
Okay, let's say there's no shady stuff.
And they are really just business people who are taking advantage of a good business opportunity where there is demand, they will supply for that demand.
Supply demand.
So if people are demanding to see an artist, they will supply said artist, and they can make the price whatever they want. And I don't really care, but I think that the responsibility is on the people who purchase said tickets. Do you think it's worth it? And if you do, then go have fun. I don't care. I think it's I don't think it's a moral issue with this, but personally, I think it's weird to go into debt, substantial amounts of debt.
Substantial.
Especially if you know that you definitely can't afford it, to see an artist. I mean, I get that people really love music, and I totally think that that's fine. It's part of being a human being. We all like music, some variation. And you just want to enjoy a night out, see your artist perform the songs live instead of just listening to it. Maybe hang out with some friends. I think that's totally okay. But when it gets to the point of now thousands of dollars or like really high hundreds for really bad seats, just for the chance of seeing someone for 2 hours.
Maybe if they come on time.
If they
show up.
There's that country singer,
right,
Morgan Wallen.
Okay, Morgan Wallen.
He keeps canceling his shows.
Wow.
I don't know why. I don't know. But I have been seeing that people will save up or they will purchase tickets, and the day of he'll cancel.
Wow.
And that's crazy. And you do not get a refund. You do not get anything. And what's crazy is people really need to think about this. They are rich. They don't care if you come to their concert or not. They don't care sometimes if they come to their own concert or not. But you will be in the hole for a really long time. Yeah. So you're taking on the risk of potentially losing out on a lot of money. But if you feel like it's worth going into debt, like, I'm not going to control you or your finances. I don't think it's morally wrong. I think I wouldn't do it. But because in the end, it's just another human being who can sing and perform really well and who got the clout. So wow. I don't know. I don't think they're shady business. They are shady business people. But if you are just operating within the capitalistic society that we have, you see a demand, you want to supply it. I think you're just right. You just did it. So
you did it, and
you did it
especially if you did it, like you said.
And also, like, you're not forcing these people to buy these tickets. You're not. You're presenting the price. You're saying, here it is. You bought it, so you can't buy it and be upset.
That's true.
That's just my opinion.
You
can buy it and have a good time. There you go. Work out a payment plan after. But
there you go.
Just go for it.
There you go. Nobody's being forced. Well, actually, okay, I can't say nobody. I don't know what kind of situations anybody has going on when it comes to buying concert tickets, okay? But I would say that I'll say the majority of people are not being held at gunpoint forced to buy a ticket to see any sort of
see
artist.
this artist or else.
Right, or else,
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think that's what the majority of people are going through.
Buying a ticket.
Willingly buying a ticket. Willingly spending possibly over $1,000, depending on the artist you're going to see.
Depending, yeah.
The dangerous aspect of that is, I say if you have the money and you have some sort of job, you have some sort of business where you're just making lots of money and you want to spend money on luxury items or luxury experiences that have become luxury. Concerts didn't used to be a luxurious experience, but now they've become some form of a luxury purchase for people, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of a purchase for people. If you have the money to do that, then by all means, if you want to spend it on something like that, you can. But I do feel as though you got to be careful, and you have to be mindful of how you spend your money when it comes to if you don't have enough money to afford that ticket truly. Like, if you can't...
Yeah, like if you're going to sacrifice groceries this week or this month or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to charge it, and now you have that crazy high interest. Yeah.
Charge to the credit card?
Credit card. As opposed to like using your debit card or like your checking account.
Cash or whatever.
Then you're dealing with like crazy high interest rates. And if you miss a payment or something, and I don't know.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be wise.
Yeah,
you have to make wise decisions. Consult the Lord always.
Yeah,
ask the Lord.
And also, I think you can consult the Lord, and also the Lord operates within common sense because the Lord invented common sense.
He did.
So I think that if you just clearly look at your bank account,
you look at it.
I think the Lord would just sit next to you and be like,
"How many zeros you got?"
You can't go. Like, I mean, you just don't have the money. I don't see like praying like, "Oh dear God, create a surplus in my bank account so I can see such and such." Like. Yeah. No. Right.
It depends. It is up to the Lord. It's up to the Lord's will. However, it just doesn't seem to be something that the Lord would do. It's depending on the artist and depending on where your heart is when you're going to, depending on where your heart is.
If you really want to go, then why not just make sacrifices for a long period of time? Like, you can kind of gauge when an artist is about to go on tour.
Yeah,
if there's rumors about an album, usually once that album pre-releases, you should already be knowing that a tour is coming.
Start saving.
So then you start saving.
Yeah.
And then you can just be like, okay, well, I know in the past this person has charged X amount for a ticket. Then you can just start saving in advance.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if you really want to go.
If you really want to see them, and you know that there's a new album, you'll know that eventually there's going to be another tour to promote and sing these new songs. So,
and there's also a lot of documented video footage and articles and probably even books in regards to how the pay structure works from top to bottom in the music industry. And you said his name was the country music artist Dylan?
I think Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen? Okay. I don't know much about Morgan Wallen.
I don't either. I just saw
it's interesting. I have heard that some artists who are performing they're paid, but depending on what kind of a contract they signed with their record label, sometimes they're actually working to pay the debt off to their record label. I saw
that too. Yeah,
there's a lot of information out there from artists, big time artists who have been in it, who've signed those deals, and information from just people who worked in and out around the industry. And you could look this up easily to see this information. So that's another warning to anybody who's. Do
they have to cover any costs for their venue? Does any of that come out of the artist's pocket?
I have heard, depending on the record label, depending on the deal, they will charge you or they'll add it to some sort of a debt that you have to pay back to them. Okay. And there's proper terms for everything in the contract that you signed. But they'll put your plane flights on, and they'll put that on top of your debt. They'll put your they'll put some towels at the concert on top of the debt. They'll put your CDs, if you're still making CDs, on top of the debt you have to pay back, and it just keeps stacking.
Sounds like our hospital bill. When I had River, like, they charge like the smallest thing.
I mean,
you used a pillow,
$25. It's stuff like that.
Just,
so it's not even just the music industry. It's just, I'm not sure what has happened to how the dollar operates in America, or who is coming up with these price points for said items, whether it's a concert ticket.
Probably the individual business or
you're right.
something. Yeah.
You're right.
But they set the price because they know people are willing to pay for it.
That's
it's
what
just
it
like
is.
theyese car prices. And they're just
prices.
like crazy expensive now.
Right.
Because after COVID, or was it during COVID, people were still like losing their jobs and everything, and everything was sort of kind of crashing.
Right.
But people were still purchasing very expensive vehicles at really high prices. So that showed the car dealerships that people are willing to continue paying. That people are willing to pay that much even in times of turmoil. So they're like, oh, okay. So then they just never took it down.
It went up, and I've never haven't seen it come down.
Stayed there. I think the average car note is $600 or $700. So the average.
Ooh, the average. Okay. Now, they did say originally that it was due to a chip shortage during COVID, and that's understandable. I don't know how true everything is.
Just kidding. It probably was.
Okay, but we did have the supply chain issue, and I believe. Oh, I don't.
Then that ship got stuck.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know the name of the channel, the shipping channel that it goes through. However, there was a big ship, a cargo ship that went sideways, got stuck, and it backed up other ships for weeks, months.
A very long time.
Months
to
and
like
months.
this point, even still, like housing, lumber and stuff is really
wood,
it's still expensive.
It's expensive.
Yeah, even now.
You know what I was going to mention?
2024. What?
2024. Okay, I was going to mention, I wonder how much of it is still supply chain issues, and how much of it is the businesses are just thinking, well, they've been buying it at this price all this time. I mean, their supply could be better off. I don't know for sure.
I'm not sure. I think in the beginning it most definitely was.
Absolutely.
But
Supply and demand.
I don't know now.
Is supply still scarce?
I don't know, but honestly, it's not even about them. It's about these citizens who are still paying.
Still buying.
We need to stand up against business and say, no, I'm not going to buy this stuff. You're crazy. I'm not going to. This is ridiculously priced.
That's what I always think.
I'm not paying that.
If we just
and
don't
if
buy
a lot of people did that, then maybe they'd bring them back down. But they're not, because I don't know. For various reasons, people want to keep overspending for things like that you can control. Like, you can't control groceries. Like, you need to buy groceries.
You gotta buy food.
But do you need the nicest car on the car lot? No.
Right.
Do you need the world's fanciest home? No. I mean, do you need like crazy nice clothes? Like,
no. Oh, that's a really big no.
Oh my
no
gosh.
one needs
Especially
Gucci.
with the material.
No one needs Gucci.
The quality of clothing is so bad.
No.
It's so thin, and it doesn't really last. And if you want to get the good material like cotton or linen or like wool, you're going to be paying. That's why I thrift. But even thrift stores are, even that's a little pricey.
Even thrift stores have gotten pricey.
Yeah.
A lot of the prices of everything have gone up, and I know that's due to inflation and some aspects. But I'm always curious on the highest end of where you have billionaires and different politicians who have a large. And we're back. Just closing out what we were talking about a minute ago. Things are expensive. Sometimes they're expensive. This is my opinion. Sometimes they're expensive because it's truly supply and demand, and a lot of people are valuing whatever that item is at it's so valuable to so many people that the price is high because people are willing to pay that much for it. Sometimes it's created and it isn't real value. Sometimes it's just somebody comes up with something and they want lots of money as fast as possible, and they're just going to say, you know what, this fork is going to be $1,000 because I said so. And, you know,
let's just see. They did that. There was this experiment, and I think it was years ago, in Payless. They don't have Paylesses anymore. Okay. But Payless, you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
where they go undercover and they create this luxury store and make it all French and doll it up, but it's Payless shoes, and just to prove that people would buy it if it had a more luxury feel to it. And they did. They came out and bought them, and they didn't realize that they were just buying Payless shoes.
They were out there. Out there. And I remember that.
Yeah.
That video is amazing.
It's so funny.
If they're not paid actors in that video, and it's really just real people coming in there like that.
They literally set up a whole store.
Wow. I saw that. I was like, whew. I believe it. We've seen it. We've seen it happen. So yeah, be careful with your money. There are certain things that you're gonna have to pay. Being a citizen in America, there's bills you're gonna have to pay.
Things are gonna go up. Yeah. And
unless you're off grid and you figured out a way to.
Do people off the grid pay taxes? I feel like if you're an of-age citizen, then you pay taxes, right? Not unless you don't have. Well, no, I think it's like unless you have a job. But right?
That's a good point. I actually don't know the legality of that.
Or do you pay taxes if you don't have a job? No, because then what do you pay taxes on if you don't have a job?
I'm not sure. That's something we had to look into. I don't know about that. I just know that we're supposed to pay taxes. I know that. Oh,
I think you're technically on your parents until
certain
25 or 26, one of those. And then they kick you off.
It's over after that. You got to start paying at some point.
I mean, I got kicked off earlier than that because we got married.
That's true. You got married at a different age. Yeah.
My parents are like, you're off these taxes. They were actually kind of bummed because they had a dependent.
Right.
So it actually helped them out. They're so funny.
They're funny with that. Oh, man. Oh, man.
That's funny. Wow. But yeah, I was just wondering if people off the grid pay taxes or how do they fund?
Maybe some of them do, some of them don't.
And if you're off so I'm assuming like they don't buy anything. Because if they're off the grid, they don't really use currency.
When I say off the grid, here's how I'm thinking of it. Because there's varying levels of off the grid.
Yeah, I'm thinking off the grid. I'm not about this.
As in, you've built a log cabin, or you have some sort of a mobile home that you're living inside of, like a hitched trailer or something, or even just a tent, and you have some crops and a garden and a bow and arrow for hunting, or some sort of gun or fishing rod for hunting, and you truly are living off the land, like those people in the show Alone.
I mean, kind of, but they were sent out with equipment.
They have equipment.
I'm thinking off the grid, like you're making everything.
Okay, yes.
I don't think you can consider yourself off the grid if you're not making everything yourself, doing everything for yourself.
Right. Or you have a small community who's also off the grid doing the same thing.
I'm trying to figure out how you're making money. Like, how do you have a place to live? Unless you built a home, but then also where do you get the equipment to shape wood into lumber? That's being on the grid because you're using on the grid
power and
mechanics and machinery, right?
That's interesting. What counts?
I feel like it's different than, like, I wouldn't consider, let's say, like the Amish community off the grid.
Right.
They just prefer a simpler way of doing things, but they still go into the stores and buy things.
Stores, right?
And they have equipment and things. They just live more simply.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking off the grid, like Castaway.
Castaway. Okay, Castaway is with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Okay, now
and
that's
Wilson.
off the grid.
That's off the grid.
He's out there with Wilson.
He's out there in his cave.
He's off the grid.
He is off the grid. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But willingly, like he wasn't there willingly, but
right.
Someone who chose that life willingly. That's what I would consider.
Now that is as off the grid as it gets.
Yes. That's what I consider. I don't think anything outside of that is. That's not on there.
Anything else? If you're not Castaway, if you're not Castaway, you're not really off the grid. You're not really off the grid. Okay. Off the grid could also mean
because if you're buying stuff but you're also like not contributing. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not gonna pay for that. I'm sorry.
We have to though. If we're paying taxes.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to. Taxes. If he's choosing to live off the grid, but he wants to just pop in whenever he wants, no, I'm sorry.
That off the grid person got to pay taxes too.
Off the grid has to contribute in some way. I don't know. I don't know. But we all got to contribute.
We all got to contribute.
If we all want to partake.
Right. In what is the grid?
In the grid.
Now the grid
outside the island.
Grid is see, in that term, grid means I want to say people are saying it as in power grid, as in electricity, gasoline, lights. When they say grid, I'm just assuming I think that's what the majority of people mean when they say off the grid. So if they're not connected to the water line, the sewer line, the electric line, the power line.
Oh, so they literally mean the grid itself, not just engaging in society.
Right. I think there's two.
Well, technically, if they go and pop into a store, is that not them engaging in the grid of electricity and food commerce?
Maybe when some people say off the grid, maybe they mean they just they're able to live off grid.
No.
But they're able to.
No. If you want to be off the grid, be off the grid.
Be off the grid.
I will welcome you back. Want to be on the grid?
When you pull up at Target,
there's no lukewarm grid taking.
When you come to Target. When you come
then you're no longer off the grid. I would assume you're all contributing. You want to order something off of Amazon
to your postal box,
to your log cabin. No.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm sorry. Man. I don't think. No.
Varying degrees of off the grid?
No.
You're
on the grid or off the grid.
You're on the grid or off the grid.
How are you going to be 1 foot on and 1 foot off the grid?
You're Castaway with Tom Hanks.
Or you're the rest of us. Or you're Tom Hanks, the FedEx driver. In Castaway.
Tom Hanks, Castaway on the island, or you're Tom Hanks,
FedEx driver.
FedEx driver, Castaway. That's it. There's only
I don't think he was a driver per se, was he? He was kind of higher up.
He was like UPS delivery. He was like
he was like a manager of some sort because he was doing all the routes and stuff.
That movie was wild.
I know, but you're either one.
In that movie.
That's it.
Whew. That's it. There's only two. That's two.
I'm sorry.
That is funny.
But then also don't complain about being off the grid.
Oh, you can't. You mean as in you can't say you're off the grid, but then you're complaining about being off the grid.
Yeah.
I haven't
you
seen
chose
that
to
before.
be. I don't know.
But maybe
people do that. I don't watch it. They're off the grid, so
you can't see them because they're off the grid.
I don't know what they're doing.
Off the grid, so we don't know what they're doing because they're off the grid.
They're off the grid.
They're off the grid.
You know what group of people? They don't make me upset, but I'm fascinated by them. Are the van people?
Van lifers?
Yeah, but like the influencer ones, not like the ones that are. I don't know.
Some of them
that like need to be, in that situation. But I'm talking about the people who have a comfy, cozy home with parents, and they like have this wonderful home base, and they went to college.
Right.
They're like, I'm gonna live in my van.
Right.
But then they act like that's their only option.
Right.
That life has put them in that scenario.
Yeah.
isn't that insulting to people who are genuinely struggling?
It could be. It depends on if those people find it offensive or insulting to themselves.
I would find it offensive because I would think that people have really fallen on hard times, but they don't have someone that they can just go back home to.
So people lost it all.
Their car breaks down. And now they're like, oh, I don't have any place to live. And I'm like, you do, because you have parents who have a home who will take you in. And it's different than people who, don't. I just think it's a little insensitive.
I see what you mean. For some of those van lifers who...
Just the ones who, are complaining, or, are just saying,
how hard it is to live in the van.
So sad. Yeah. But they have options. They just chose this for, the fun of it. I want to try it. I want to do it.
Okay.
But then you're, making sad videos, and you're like, I don't know what to do, and, this is the... it's just so hard out here. But then they're like, oh, yeah, I came back home to... I just really had to rest up, really want to take a shower.
Right.
Park my car.
Right. I see what you're saying.
There are people who actually have to live in their vans for hard times.
They've lost it all.
They don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
For real.
Right. I see what you're saying. I
just find it insulting. Or not insulting, a little insensitive.
I can see where you're coming from. at that point, yeah. Yeah.
I find them fascinating. But then do they pay taxes?
Do those people pay taxes?
Do you have... Because... Is that I don't know how that works. Because...
We're going to need to do some research.
Property tax on your car? Or do you pay it as if it's your living residence? And is that your address? But then also, I'm pretty sure they just use their parents' home for... some sort of P.O. box. Maybe a P.O. box.
I've seen lots of people use a P.O. box. They definitely use a P.O. box.
But if they're traveling cross country, then do they have to drive back to their one P.O. box?
They have to get back to that P.O. box at a certain point. See, that's interesting, because where would your taxes be based? What state would you be based out of? Would it be based all out of your P.O. box? That's interesting.
Ever since I became an adult, taxes are a real big thing to me.
They are.
Because I'm like, who's paying taxes?
Yeah. We're going to do some research on that one.
Taxes for?
That's a good point.
So that debate on Tuesday. Did you know that that's the first time they're ever going to meet?
Okay, so we're talking about former President Donald Trump and current sitting Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. I want to get their official titles
and names.
Treat them with respect.
Correctly.
Both of them. Treat them, respect the position, respect the seats, and...
Well, only one is in a seat currently.
That's true. Only one's in a seat currently. Interesting. Yes, but always want to be respectful of leadership. That's what I always say.
Oh, yeah.
However. No, wait, no, not however. There is no real however on that situation.
Oh, I was just telling you this is the first time they're meeting.
Yeah. Where was I going? What kind of tangent was I going down? Was I trying to be politically correct? I was sounding real politically correct right there.
Politics.
But honestly, though,
no, this is
always
the first time.
Always respecting. Oh.
Do you want to say it one more time? We get it. Well, respect the leadership.
Respect the leadership. Respect your leadership.
I was trying to tell you a fun fact.
Okay, what's the fun fact?
They've actually never engaged with each other before.
They've never engaged. No. I heard that this is where I heard this. I heard that when Vice President Kamala Harris was at the CNN interview.
Yeah.
And I watched this on YouTube. It was
I did too. I didn't like how they did it in clips. I wish it was just one video.
I just want to hear it because former President Donald Trump has done...
You don't have to call him former President Donald Trump every single time. And we don't have to continue.
I don't have to continue saying Vice President Kamala Harris? No. Okay, well, all right. There's going to be Trump and Harris. All right, that's all I'm going to go with.
I don't know why, but I feel like I should say Trump and Kamala. I don't know why, but his name isn't just Donald, but also she's not Harris. I don't get it.
I know, right? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Anyways. I don't know why, but that seems... But yeah. What I was going to say there is that... first time they're meeting.
Yeah.
September 10th, the debate.
Yeah, and it's going to be at the debate.
It's going to be at the debate. I am excited to watch this because I haven't been able to see Kamala Harris off script on this large of a platform before.
Yeah, like on the fly.
On the fly.
Yeah.
Unscripted. I'm hoping it's unscripted.
Well, I'm sure they'll have talking points that they are currently practicing, probably.
Right.
And prepping, just like they did when it was Joe Biden. I think he was in Camp David prepping.
Yes.
So they, have talking points, but there's no teleprompter.
Right.
If that's what you are saying. You saying you want to see her without the teleprompter?
Yeah, no script. No script. Yeah. I want to see both of them unscripted. Well, we have lots of unscripted moments from Trump, and I mean
former President Donald Trump.
From former President Donald Trump. Absolutely. He has plenty of off script moments, and there's lots of T-shirts. There's lots of T-shirts you can get.
Oh yeah, quotes. Just down the road, next to the Goodwill.
Absolutely. We saw a stand that was out there,
big old stand
in this area, and I thought that's wrong. That's why, like we talked about earlier,
exercising their right as Americans.
There's a need and a supply and demand for merch.
Can't hate the game.
For
can't
merch,
hate the game.
And they supply and demand. But what I'm saying there is, I'm curious because,
I hope they're civil.
Yeah, I want them to be civil. Neither one of these people is going to be able to save the country. The only person who can save you is going to be Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
That's it. That's the only person. Okay? Neither one of these people is going to be able to save the country.
No.
That's one thing that really I find to be interesting when I see people on the far right and people on the far left, and they're thinking it's the end of the world if Donald Trump wins, or it's the end of the world if Kamala Harris wins. Because it's not. Yeah. It's not the end of this world.
Not unless the Lord Jesus comes back. That's about it.
That's the only time. So neither one of these people are going to save this country. The only way this country is going to be saved, this is in the Bible. Let me get the verse. Because it's in the verse. And the president in Venezuela, I want to say Venezuela. I may have been completely wrong.
It is not Venezuela.
It isn't Venezuela.
It's El Salvador.
El Salvador. Thank you. I don't know where Venezuela came from. I'm not sure if he counts as a president there. But let me see. I want to get his name.
Is he not is that not what they're...
El Salvador. Let me see. That's him. Yes, it is.
Good.
And he is a president. Country. Yes. Okay. I might say this wrong. Nayib Bukele. I may have said that wrong. My apologies there. But he has a great interview with Tucker Carlson. Let's see. Yeah, it's on there. You can find it. Tucker Carlson and the president of
El Salvador.
Thank you. Great interview. He prayed and asked God to help heal his land.
That's a verse.
That's a verse in the Bible. He did just that, and God stepped in and provided a way to heal his land in El Salvador. And it's amazing. I mean, that interview was awesome. So I'm definitely praying for El Salvador and hoping that things get better there. Absolutely. It was just amazing to see a sitting current president stand up. Well, he was sitting when he said it, but you know what I'm saying. Stand up and declare the name of the Lord.
Did you just specify that he was sitting?
You know what I'm saying?
Stand up, but in a chair.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just amazing to see that.
I have the verse.
Oh, you do? Okay. What's the verse? What's the word for word there?
7. Okay, 2 Chronicles 7:14 and 15. Okay. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land.
Okay, good. I wanted to have a moment of silence there.
Oh, okay.
That was nice. That was nice. See, it's right there in the Bible. So, here's the thing.
Heal their land. Yes.
If Donald Trump was to do that, God could heal this land. If Donald Trump accepts Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
If Kamala Harris does that and accepts Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, praise and ask God, please heal the land. And then they both do what needs to be done in regards to seeking the Lord and asking for help in regards to who they're going to have in their immediate circle to help them make these big decisions. God will step in.
Yes. I am for that as a Christian, which is my top identity. But as an American, that's just not how America was founded.
It's not how America was founded.
And if you look at it from that point of view, which would be an incomplete one in my perspective, but, you know, if you're just looking from the American perspective, not everybody would want that.
I see.
You know, our Constitution is we the people. And if the people do not want to have a president who is praying and asking the Lord to heal their land, right. You know, some people have issues with that. Some people are like, God's not real. Why are you even talking to him? And I have a problem with that.
Right.
I think that's kind of where you step into some, you know, some sticky situations. Because
I see what you mean.
You're the president for the people. And the way America is set up is, you know, you get to choose your religion. You get the freedom to practice whatever religion you like.
Right. Freedom.
To have whatever opinions you like to have. And, you know, have healthy discord.
Exactly.
You can protest things. Totally fine. Absolutely. Peacefully.
Yeah.
But that also, you know, if they're the president for the people, I think there would be some in this country who would have an issue with our president mimicking what the El Salvadorian president did.
Right. You're absolutely right. And you know what's interesting? It almost goes without saying that it would be. I mean, yeah. People would be like, people would not.
I mean,
want
that's just America. I don't fault them.
Yeah.
For that, like people, because that's not even how Christianity is. It's not dictatorship. God's not.
You
some
can
sort of
choose
biblical nationalist character. Like he's not gonna force people to choose him.
No.
So I actually think that that's mimicking the Bible. I don't think we as Americans should force people to choose to operate under one religion, even if I believe that religion or that faith is the truth. And we would all see great benefits if we did just surrender to Jesus. But
yes, amen.
That's just not. That's not the way of this country, and honestly, that's not the way that God created it. Like, that's not God's character either.
Right.
He's not going to be like, you know, forcing you to choose him.
No. Everyone has free will. He's given us all free will. And America definitely gives the individual more freedom to exercise that choice.
I mean, but what comes with that are the cons of living a life outside of Jesus. So, and operating a country outside of, you know,
outside of Jesus Christ's
hand.
Jesus' hand, yes. We see the bad fruit of that.
I mean, yeah.
And a lot of, you just turn the TV on. Turn the TV on, look at your local news, wherever you're at, and you'll see it. You'll see it. And that leads me into this as well, is that I was not alive before 1997, so I don't know. All I know are the accounts of people who have told me that this happened in the past.
You're funny. I was not alive before I was born.
Okay, so I'm just being real.
Well, you were alive the 9 months prior, so.
Oh, okay, that's true.
Technically, you were alive in 1996.
That's right.
You were just in utero.
That's absolutely right. I was alive in 1996. Okay, yeah, because 9 months before April 1997. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so I was alive in 1996.
You were.
Okay.
You just weren't out here.
Yeah, I wasn't out here, but I was absolutely alive before then. But.
So sorry, did I lose your train of thought?
No,
okay,
you didn't.
Good. Keep going.
I'm glad you said that. I definitely that was a really good point. My train of thought was that civil discourse, and I think that's the right term I'm looking for. Today, it seems as though there's a lot of
discourse or discord.
Discord. Which is it? Let me see. Let's see the definition of it. Okay, let's just type in civil discord, and let's just see civil. Discord. Okay, civil discord meaning. Here we go. This is an AI overview on Google.
Oh yeah.
Civil discord can refer to a model of discourse that welcomes disagreement and uncomfortable questions, or it can refer to a collaboration between academic entities. All right, so that's civil discord.
Oh, so you were kind of right. It said it was a method of discourse.
Yes. Okay. So what I want to see, there might be a better term for it. I want to see people be able to sit down almost like what we're doing.
Yeah.
Disagree. Somebody who loves Kamala Harris and everything she stands for, and somebody who loves Donald Trump and everything he stands for, both far on opposite sides. It'd be really nice to see those people sit down and be able to talk and just have a coffee without trying to tear each other apart. I believe that when you see things online and you see things on your cell phone, sometimes it's geared to just make you angry in regards, especially in the voting season. So it'd be nice to know that if you've seen somebody fall down on the ground, prayerfully your first reaction is to help them. Your first reaction prayerfully is not to ask, hey, who do you want as your president before giving the help.
Good Samaritan, the story of the Good Samaritan.
Yeah. I just want to be able to see people put that aside. If you disagree, that's okay. We always can disagree, but still treat each other with respect, still treat each other with love. That's what I want to see. You can disagree all day long, but respect and love is important.
But that was like the story of the Good Samaritan.
Really?
Like the Samaritan he found a man, and I think they were like a Jew. I think it was a Jewish man, like a Hebrew man, and they were not like comrades. Wow. Like they did not, get along. The Samaritans and the Jewish people, and let me just verify that.
Oh yeah, check it.
The man who was beaten up on the side of the road was like
the Good Samaritan. Wow, this is really interesting because I haven't heard this before. When you mentioned it just a minute ago while I was talking there, I wasn't 100% sure what you were talking about, but...
Oh, it was just a man. Okay, he was a man going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. Yeah.
This is from the Bible? Or this is just Oh, wow.
No, this is the parable of the Good Samaritan.
Oh, the parable of the Good Samaritan. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Wow, thank you.
And basically, it's just a good example of, the Samaritan people, they just didn't really get along. The Samaritans and the Hebrews that worshipped in Jerusalem, the Samaritans weren't even allowed to go and worship in Jerusalem.
Wow.
So to have the Samaritan help this man after, I think, a Levite passed him by. Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead. You're doing a great job explaining this. This is really amazing because...
Samaritan. Oh, it was a priest and a Levite. So two people who you would think would stop and help this man, who would probably be the more likely characters to help this man,
right?
Actually stepped to the other side of the street and passed him by. And it was a Samaritan who stopped and helped him and took care of him, brought him to a shelter, gave him food.
Yeah.
And even paid the innkeeper, I'll pay you this and I'll pay you whatever you need to take care of this man.
Wow.
Put him on his donkey.
Wow.
And took took care of him.
Took care of him. The good
Someone
Samaritan.
who is the unlikely character.
Right.
Someone who should have been, quote unquote, the one who would more likely to walk on their side, but
Right. But he didn't.
he didn't.
Amazing.
So I feel like that's how we should operate with each other.
Absolutely. That's what I want.
Someone who is a diehard Kamala fan, someone who's a diehard Trump fan. The perfect example would be them, laughing over a cup of coffee, taking care of each other.
Taking care of each other still. No matter what. That's what I want to see.
I know. But now everybody's so quick to get angry.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Unfriend you.
Right.
Excommunicate you from their family.
Right. Excommunicate you from your family over a president who's not going to be there. And
over a politician.
And
none of them care about you. Like, they just don't. They've just been placed in a position of authority.
Okay, I'll go as far as to say this. I'll say some of them really do care. But
okay, some, yeah.
I'll say some of them who are in those places of power in the government absolutely are trying to pass laws, bills, practices, regulations, anything like that, and they love Jesus Christ. There are some people in government
you're right.
who are trying, but I also feel as though there's the powers and principalities in places that we can't see are also there as well. In high places, they are also there as well. And just to give you clarification on that, let me quote powers and principalities. And that is Ephesians 6:12. Ephesians 6:12. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. And that's what I think. So there are people there working hard. And there are also people there working against them. Also, just to get what you said, the Good Samaritan.
Okay.
What book is that in?
The book of Luke.
Book of Luke. Thank you. That's all we needed.
Or I can give the chapter.
Yeah.
Luke 10.
Luke 10. Cool. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. So that's what I had to say there.
But yeah, I just don't think people should be so quick to turn on each other.
No.
Over politics.
Every 4 years, every big voting season, there's always it comes back around. All this hate, all this nastiness toward one another.
Because I think people escalate things.
Mm-hmm.
I think the media doesn't really help.
Yeah, the media. Yeah.
And I remember, I think journalists were supposed to be neutral.
They were supposed to be.
I know.
At some point in time.
Like, the press was supposed to be neutral, and it's not.
It's not anymore.
So much anymore.
Yeah.
But, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I think people should still go out and vote.
Yeah, I think people should go out and vote. Absolutely. Exercise your right.
As a citizen.
Yeah. Exercise
your right. You get to
right.
participate in the election.
Right. Exercise your right.
Just pray.
Pray. Yeah, pray beforehand and exercise your right.
And whoever gets in office, you're still called to pray for them.
Still called to pray for them. And respect that leadership. Respect their position. Mm-hmm. Respect the position. Even if you disagree. You see him, if you happen to see, let's say Trump wins. You happen to see Trump out and about. Hey, Mr. President, I hope you have a great day. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go as far as to say, I hope you have a great day. It'd be nice if you did, but you got to respect that.
If you like, but you can't just
Mr. President right there.
Spit on him. You can't just do stuff like that. And vice versa.
If Kamala Harris wins.
But if she becomes our president, she's our president.
She's our president. That's Madam President or Miss President?
Madam
President right there. That's Madam President. You can't spit on Kamala Harris. You gotta.
No.
Hey, Madam President. Hope you have a great day. Whether you agree or disagree with either one of them.
Yep.
There you go. That's the way to go about it. But yeah.
Because that's supposed to show the example of Jesus. And
right.
That can really win a lot of people over.
Absolutely. man, voting season is always things
whirlwind.
always get heavy. It always gets to, there's always that tension that kind of comes around with it. This is
our like official, what is it, WWE?
WWE of of the United States.
The United States. Who's gonna win? In this corner, we've got Mr. Donald J. Trump, and on the other corner, Madam VP.
Madam VP, come in. It really does feel like that sometimes. The way that they hype this up with these media rollouts and there's all this video footage and everything like that, it feels like that. It feels like a wrestling match.
I know. Like, I feel like this debate almost has me feeling like, should I just like grab some popcorn?
I mean, what's gonna happen?
But it's so sad that I'm viewing it like that.
Right.
Because this is the fate of my country.
It's the fate of the country for the next 4 years. That's right.
I shouldn't make it a joke, but
it seems that
it just feels like we're getting ready.
It's like a big boxing match or something. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. My goodness. That is modern day politics going on. Politicians.
Yeah.
That's just a very small snapshot of what we got coming up in a couple of days.
So we'll just have to tune in till Tuesday.
We'll just have to tune in on Tuesday, yeah.
That's what I just said.
How about co-sign that? Co-sign it. There you go. Tune in on Tuesday. Co-sign.